Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to the Secrets of a Witch podcast with me, Sabrina Scott, where I talk all about life, love, healing, spirituality, witchcraft, tarot, all the things. And today I wanted to, honestly, this podcast episode just came to me randomly. By randomly, I mean literally a split second ago, and I was like, I need to hit record on this because this is oh my god, I need to talk about this. So I'm recording this on a Saturday morning. I went out last night, Friday night, in my beautiful big city of Toronto, and one of the things that really struck me about my night was the importance of flirting with the world, and how when we flirt with the world flirts back with us. And I think a lot of it has to do with energy. I think a lot of it has to do with our vibe, the frequency that we are vibrating at. I think it has to do with our mindset, our worldview. And I don't know if you've ever noticed this about yourself or your own life or whatever, but when you're vibrating at a more positive, more open, more genuinely happy and content with yourself and your situation and the world, and you're not influenced by, oh my God, what does everyone think of me? I'm judging myself and I think others are judging me, blah, blah, blah. If you're not caught up in that, you free yourself to have a different energy, a different vibration, a different vibe. And when we have that, what is so interesting is that the world just opens up to us. And it just becomes so much more inviting, so much more beautiful. We can go so much deeper and discover so much more than if we're vibrating at a more blah frequency. And I wanted to use some of my experiences last night as an example of this. And I went in last night with no expectations, honestly, no intentions other than to have a good time. And I think it's due to all of this that I've been talking about that I had, honestly, such a fun night. And everyone seemed interested in who I was, captivated by me. Just random people would come up to me at this event, and we would have a cute little interesting interaction, and then we would both continue on with the journeys of our evening. And I don't just mean oh, that was a cat with a bell, as one does, but I don't just mean flirtatious stuff, though that definitely did happen. I also mean some super gorgeous old woman, as I was sitting with some friends, picked me out of the group and started complimenting me and just had this great energy, and we just had this conversation, and she showed me her rings and her jewelry, which just were so gorgeous, and she was telling me about herself and how she was a gemologist and had donated some fancy stones to some very fancy places, and just told me a little bit about her adventures over the course of her life in that line of work. And obviously, that wasn't her hitting on me. That was just two people pulled together by good energy, good vibrations, and interacting, and then parting ways, and having, I think, a beautiful memory of a fleeting moment of good energy, right? And my attitude towards life is very much like that. There's so many times when just randomly, like, if I just pass someone on the street, like, or whatever, even just like a receptionist, if I'm at the doctor's office and like the person has cool makeup or an interesting outfit or like a really cool something that's caught my eye, or even if they just have really good energy, like I'll just say that. And I'll say it authentically, genuinely, with a smile on my face. And that is just my approach to living this life, to operate with the best of intentions, with the best of energy. And if I'm going to go out and be in a space where a lot of people are, if it's a party, if it's socializing, networking, whatever, I always want to show up with good energy. And I think it goes beyond just being in a good mood. It also kind of elevates to this level I've been talking about of flirting with the world. And by flirting, I don't necessarily mean that that's like sexual or dating or whatever. Like, it's just being playful with everyone you meet until you have a reason not to be, obviously. Like, I had an interaction a few days ago where someone, it's a long, complicated situation, but basically someone was like making a joke, and the joke was to like try to grab my purse, and I did not like that. And so I reacted in a pretty intense way, I guess you can say. And so it doesn't mean, like, this whole flirting with the world thing doesn't always mean that we always have to be playful and cute and, all of that and light. Like, obviously keep your wits about you, don't be stupid, but I do think it makes sense to have this as a default demeanor if you can naturally, authentically embody that due to where you are at right now in your healing journey with whatever it is that you've been through and whatever it is that you're growing through at this point in your life. We all grow. We have all got ups and downs. It's very normal to have good months, bad months, etc. Like, I would say that my default now is like I'm pretty much good like all the time. But it definitely wasn't always that way. And as my healing journey has progressed, and as I honestly just feel great, like pretty much every day, it's been so cool to just become more open to everyone around me, become more playful, become more fun, more charming, more experimental, more spontaneous. And like I'm not like this in terms of plans, actually. Like, I pretty much never do anything spontaneous because my schedule is very regimented. But I more mean that, like, when you show up to something, don't be so regimented with how you're interacting with people. Be open to the mystery. Be open to embodying that playful, open, flirty energy, even if you're in a room full of like gender that you're not attracted to, or you're not there to date, or you're taken. That's like, all of that has like nothing to do with what I'm talking about. What I more mean is an openness to experience, an openness to see the best in other people until proven otherwise, an openness to express the best in ourselves until given reason to revoke that, and to see what happens. And as I've said earlier in this episode, I do find that synchronicities and serendipities and a blossoming and blooming of connections and relating can happen when we interact with and interface with the world, our experiences, and other people this way. And if this sounds scary to you, what I would ask is, well, what do you have to lose? It's an experiment. Maybe a few hours of your time. But even then, I really don't believe that time is ever lost or ever wasted. If we were present, if we felt something, if we learned something to do or to not do, if we had a new experience, if we had an interesting observation, if we got a lesson or a question or a new knowing or data point out of that interaction, out of that moment, out of that hour, out of that day, of course, it is then worth it, in my opinion. And so I've talked about this before, and this is like another topic for another episode, but this way of being, it is predicated on an abundance mindset, an abundance framing of people and of a world, and an abundance framing of ourselves, right? As opposed to a mindset, a way of being, an outlook that is instead rooted in, grounded in scarcity. And scarcity connects us not to playfulness, not to openness, but to fear and hoarding of our time, emotions, openness, our ability to be fun. And so this week, my friends, I'm going to give you guys a little homework activity if you accept my invitation. And that is to try this idea on. Flirt with the world a little bit more. Smile more. Say what's on your mind more. See if you can't reframe things to be more positive and fun more often. And I know some of you might be like, this sounds like brainwashing to me. And you know what? It might be at first. For me, it absolutely is not anymore, but maybe when I was 20, it would have been, But it's one of those things, sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. And it does take time to reprogram ourselves to operate in a more positive way. There's like full books about this. I can get into that in another episode maybe, but our thoughts do affect our reality. Words do become worlds. That's why this whole magic thing involves spelling, right? And my cat, Awaz, is in agreement with that, obviously. And so see if you can't spell yourself a more joyful week than last week, a more playful week than last week. And you don't have to be playful every single day. I know that's impossible, but see if you can't open up some cracks. See if you can't make a little bit more space for a different side of yourself to become more present and bloom a little bit more than you did yesterday. Okay, my friends, that's the episode. I hope you enjoy the full moon tomorrow. It's going to be fucking gorgeous and wonderful. If you feel called to do this work for the full moon, highly recommend it. It's such a good time to set those intentions and release them into this big, beautiful universe that we're in. Okay, my friends, that's it for today. Catch you on the flip side. Catch you on the next episode. When will that be? I do not yet know. And as you guys know, I am taking an Instagram break right now. You can still follow me if you want, but I'm not going to be on Instagram again for another 2 weeks. It's been really nice to take a break, and I've got so many fun photos of the things I've been up to that I can't wait to post. So if you do want to follow me, if you haven't already, my Instagram is Sabrina M. Scott. And it was kind of like a silly thing to do, to like release a brand new tarot journal and then just like the second I did that, disappear from Instagram for a month. But you can check it out on Amazon. It's called let me just see, Card of the Day Tarot Journal by me, Sabrina Scott. I have a bunch of photos that I've taken of it, that other folks have sent me of it, that I cannot wait to share with you guys. So stay tuned for my Instagram return. Otherwise, you can sign up for my newsletter at sabrinamscott.com. It's on there somewhere. That first front page, there should be a link to sign up. It should be with the 13 witchy books list situation. So that will be a way to subscribe to the mailing list and get all the details. Of course, we are in the midst of summer, at least here in Toronto. And you know what? The summer nights are getting chilly still. And so if you do want a cute crop hoodie to throw over whatever it is you're wearing on your fun adventures throughout the city, throughout the country, throughout wherever you happen to be, you can go check out my little clothing collection at shopsabrinamscott.com. I've got some new stuff coming soon that I can't wait to share it with you guys. All right, my friends, that's it. Catch you on the flip side. Happy filming. Bye.